you on Gradeup platform. I welcome you all for this lecture on important UPSC related questions. So I welcome you all for this discussion, and in this is a continuing lecture series in which we will be discussing 10 questions related to economy, and this is a continuing lecture series in which we have been discussing every Thursday at 1 p.m. 1000 most important questions. Good afternoon, Ashneet. Now, without wasting any more time, let's start with today's questions. So the first question for today is, consider the following statements regarding participatory notes. Statement 1. The underlying Indian security instrument may be debt or an index. 2. They are financial instrument required by investors to invest in Indian securities after having registered with the SEBI. 3. Through participatory notes, investors anonymously take position in Indian markets. Which of the following statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2, B. 1 and 3, C. 2 and 3, and D. 1, 2 and 3. So please answer this question. You have 40 seconds. You have 40 seconds to answer the question. Please answer the question. You have 40 seconds. Ashneet and other people who are live with me, please answer the question. I'm waiting for your responses. Okay, Ashneet has given his answer. I'm waiting for other responses. Aruna is saying D. Abhishek is saying B. So let's answer this question. Now, what is a participatory? In Indian context, participatory notes in essence is a derivative instrument. What is derivative? The value of something which is derived from underlying assets. And these derivative instruments are issued by foreign institutional investors to investors who want to invest in Indian markets. And these FIIs are registered with SEBI. But FIIs institute T notes or participatory notes to investors who wish to remain anonymous. So this statement is right. Now, when we talk about P notes, as I said, that financial investors invest in India having to register with SEBI. P note investors do not have to register with SEBI. So this statement goes wrong. So automatically statement 2 is wrong, A is wrong, C is wrong, D is wrong. So your answer becomes B by just elimination. And because they are derivative instruments, so they are debt or index instruments. So this is right and this is right. Your answer becomes B. Statement 1 and 3 are right. Good afternoon. B answer is correct. Okay. Now let's move on to the second question. Consider the following statements with respect to GDP deflator. Statement 1. Gross domestic product deflator or GDP deflator is a measure of general price inflation. Statement 2. GDP deflator reflects the prices of all domestically produced goods and services in the economy. Statement 3. GDP deflator also includes the price of investment goods government services, exports and imports. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2, B. 1 and 3, C. 2 and 3, and D. 1, 2 and 3. You have 40 seconds to answer the question. Answer the question. Okay, people are giving answers. Sri Kutan is saying A, Simran is saying A, Nurul is saying B, Abhishek is saying D. Okay, please guys give your answer. Now let's answer the question. What is GDP deflator? GDP deflator formula is what? Nominal GDP, which is GDP at current price, divided by real GDP, which is GDP at constant price into 100. Basically what it tells us the general level of inflation in the economy. So this statement is right. And it reflects prices of all domestically produced goods and services. So this is right. When I am talking about domestically produced goods and services, prices are counted, then obviously imports will not be part of it. Imports are goods and services which we get from other nations. So this becomes wrong. So your answer is A, 1 and 2. Your answer is A, 1 and 2. So this statement is right, this statement is right, this statement is wrong. What is GDP? The measure of all the final goods and services produced in a country for a financial year. Inside the country, production has to happen. Imports production is not happening inside the country, so this statement becomes wrong. Rest everything is part of GDP deflator, but import is not, so this becomes wrong. So the answer is 1 and 2 only. Now let's move on to the third question. With respect to foreign sovereign bonds, consider the following statements. Foreign borrowing in dollars will be cheaper for government than borrowing in rupees. Statement 2, foreign sovereign bond is long run, can discourage import. In long run, foreign sovereign bond can discourage imports. And third, issuance of overseas bonds would enable private sector to raise money in domestic market. Which of the following statement is correct? 1 and 3, 3 only, 2 and 3, or D? You have 40 seconds to answer the question. Yashwini Shukla is saying that she cannot see the questions. Can everybody not see the questions? Is the question visible to everybody? Okay, you guys are giving answers, good. So, okay, people are giving every kind of answer, A, C, B, only D is the answer which people are not giving. So, let's answer the question. Every borrowing of money, be it inside our country or outside the country, has a cost, and that cost is interest rate. So cost of borrowing money in rupee is cost of borrowing money within India, but the interest rates in India are higher. When we are borrowing in dollars from abroad, the interest rate which we have to pay on that, which is cost of borrowing that money, is lower, because in foreign market the money is available at cheaper interest rate. So this becomes right. Then second statement says that foreign sovereign bonds in long run discourage import. This statement is wrong, because when Indian companies issue bonds in foreign market, it basically does what? It leads to appreciation of Indian rupee. It leads to appreciation of Indian rupee, which means what? That export will become expensive and imports will increase. So this statement is wrong. So statement 2 is wrong. Now this is right. So your automatically answer becomes A by just eliminating option 2. Then let's go to third question. Issuance of overseas bond would enable private sector to raise money in domestic market. So what does this mean? Because you know, government in India is also borrowing. So when government borrows more, private sector is left with lesser money to borrow from. So private sector for their investment need goes abroad, issues overseas bond and raise money for domestic purposes. So this statement is absolutely right. So this is right, this is right, this is wrong. So your answer with elimination and explanation becomes A. Yes, this is an English class. Your answer is A for question number 3. Now moving on to question number 4. With respect to the difference and similarities between the banks and non-banking financial companies, consider the following statements. 1. Share of foreign investment in non-banking financial companies is lower than banks. 2. Statutory liquidity ratio requirements is not applicable on non-banking financial companies. 3. Deposit insurance in banks is up to 1 lakh rupees, where for non-banking financial companies it is not there. Which of the statement given in these 3 statements are correct? Correct. So 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 or none of the options are correct. Please answer. Sanju is saying the answer is C. Most of the people are saying C. Sumit Chaudhary is saying D. Ashneet is saying C. Fine. Let me answer the question now. Share of foreign investments in non-banking financial companies lower than banks. This statement is wrong. 100% FDI is allowed in non-banking financial companies. whereas 74% is allowed in banks. So foreign investment in NBFC is more. So this statement is wrong. Then second statement says that statutory liquidity requirement is not applicable on NBFCs. This is also wrong. NBFCs have to adhere to statutory liquidity requirement, which is of 15%. So this is also wrong. Now under the deposit insurance of banks, the depositors have their deposits insured in banks. Absolutely right. And non-banking financial companies, because they do not take deposits, so they do not have their deposits insured. This is absolutely right. But deposits are insured not up to 1 lakh rupees, but up to 5 lakh rupees. So this statement also becomes wrong, because it is 1 lakh given, it is 5 lakhs. So your answer becomes D, none of the above. Your answer is D, none of the above statements are right. All are wrong. Okay. Moving on to the fifth question. With respect to consumer price index and wholesale price index, consider the following statements. 1. Manufactured goods have highest weightage in WPI, wholesale price index. 2. Services have more weight in under WPI as against consumer price index. Which of the following statements are correct? Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 and 2 are right. Please answer the question. This is an easy one. Okay, some people are saying D, some people A. Most of the answer is A. So I'll answer the question now. WPI, first of all, in the WPI basket, services are not included. Services not included. Services are included in consumer price index. So this statement becomes wrong. Only goods are in WPI. And in WPI, yes, the highest weight in the basket is given to manufactured goods. So this is right. Your answer becomes A, because your option this is wrong. Your answer is A for this question. Now, sixth question. Services Trade Restrictiveness Index. Services Trade Restrictiveness Index is released by A. World Bank, B. World Economic Forum, C. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, or D. International Monetary Fund. Please answer the question. Please answer the question. Okay. Some people, most of the people I see gave an answer C. Okay, Priyambada, I got it. Your answer is C. So I'll answer your question. The answer to this question is C. Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development publishes Services Trade Restrictive Index, and this index provides the information about regulation affecting trade and services in 22 sectors in OECD member countries as well as non-OECD member countries. And according to this index, India is one of the most restrictive trade and services countries according to its policies. So answer to this question is C, OECD. Now let's move on to the seventh question. With respect to AGRIDEX, consider the following statement. 1. AGRIDEX is India's first return-based agriculture future index which tracks the performance of 10 Kharif and Rabi crops traded on NCDX platform. 2. NCDX has partnered with National Stock Exchange NSE Index, a leading index service provider, to maintain and disseminate real-time NCDX AGRIDEX values. Which of the following statements are correct? 1, only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, and neither 1 nor 2. Please answer the question. I think now I should answer the question. Most of the people are saying B, then some people are saying C. So let's answer this question. So NCDX is a commodity exchange. It has announced trading of country's first future index called AGRIDEX. Okay. It is India's first return-based agriculture future index and it tracks both Kharif and Rabi crops. So this is right. Okay. Now, this is right. Now NCDX has also partnered with NSE to provide service, leading service provider to maintain dissemination of real-time NCDX AGRIDEX value of the commodities which are covered under AGRIDEX. So both the statements are right. And what are the commodities which are covered under AGRIDEX? Castor seeds, chana, coriander, and what? Cotton seeds oil. Gorgram, Gor seed. Can somebody tell me what is the major industrial use of Gor seed? Jeera. Can somebody tell me what is the industrial use of Gor seeds? Mustard seeds, etc. are mentioned on AGRIDEX. Your answer is C, both 1 and 2 is right. Can somebody tell me what is the industrial use of Gor seeds? Your answer is C. See, dhania is a horticulture crop. It can be grown both in Kharif season and Rabi season. Now I'll tell you. The major use of Gor seed is in oil extraction, in fracking. Fracking is used to carry out extraction of oil. It's a process. In fracking, Gor seeds are used. Okay. Now, let's move on to the 8th question. Major use is fracking. Now, let's move on. See, Googling it is not good. Don't Google and give me answers. Okay. Question number 8. Consider the following statements. Monetization of fiscal deficit involves financing of extra expenses of the government with debt borrowed from RBI to be repaid in future dates. 2. FRBM Act does not permit monetization of deficit under any circumstances. 3. Monetization of deficit helps in preventing crowding out effects. Which of the following statements are correct? A. 1 and 2, B. 2 and 3, C. 1 and 3, and D. 1, 2 and 3. Please answer the question. Please answer the question. Okay. People are saying, Ashnit is saying C, Amritansh is saying C, Shri Kutan is saying C, Privandana is Priyam Vada is saying A, Vinoda is saying C. So the answer to this question, let me answer. What is monetized deficit? The amount of deficit of a government which is financed by printing of new notes. And who prints new notes? RBI. And it has to be repaid by the government to RBI in the future date. So this is absolutely right. Then FRBM Act does not permit monetization of deficit under any circumstance. This statement is wrong. In 2017, according to NK Singh Committee, an escape clause is given to the government in extreme circumstances that it can ask RBI to monetize the deficit. So this statement is wrong. Then third is monetization of deficit helps preventing crowding of it. What is crowding out? When excessive government borrowing from markets leave lesser money for private sector borrowing, that is crowding out. Now if government has higher fiscal deficit or other deficits, and if it is asking RBI to print more notes, then it is leaving more money for private sector to borrow from market. So this is absolutely right. This is right. This statement is wrong. Your answer becomes C, 1 and 3. Let's move on to the 9th question. With respect to credit guarantee scheme for subordinate debt, consider the following statements. It is a scheme for distressed MSME sector. 2. 90% guarantee coverage for this sub-debt will be given under the scheme and 10% would come from concerned promoter. 3. Promoters of MSME will be given credit equal to 15% of their stakes, equity plus debt, or 75 lakhs, whichever is lower. Your options are 1 and 2 is right, 1 and 3 is right, 2 and 3 is right, and 1, 2, 3 all are right. Please answer the question. People are saying A, B, C. Now only D is left. Let me answer the question now. See, the answer to this question is that yes, because of COVID crisis, many MSME sector companies were distressed, and this scheme has been launched to help the distressed MSME sector because of the COVID crisis. So under the government's package to revive economy due to COVID lockdown and pandemic, this scheme has been launched to revive MSME sector, and it has been allotted 20,000 crore rupees. And it also has 90% guarantee for sub debt coverage, and 10% has to be given by promoters. So this statement is also right. And even third statement is right. MSME will be given 15% of their stakes, around that much money, or 75 lakhs, whichever is lower. So statement 3 is also right. This is answer to this question is D. Akshay has given the right answer to this question. Now, let's move on to the last question for today. Fiscal Performance Index is released by which of the following? Reserve Bank of India, okay, Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, C, Finance Ministry, or D, World Bank? Please answer the question. It is an easy thing. The answer to this question is B. Confederation of Indian Industry publishes Fiscal Performance Index to monitor center and state fiscal performances. Okay, assess central and state budget and fiscal performances. And this index incorporates qualitative assessment of revenue expenditures of governments, capital expenditures of government, how well the government is managing its fiscal position, how well government is raising its revenues, and how well government is trying to bring down its public debt. All is qualitatively measured under this index, and the state governments as well as central government is given marks under this index. So these were the 10 questions which we had to discuss for today. I hope you liked the questions which we discussed today. Now before I end, the answer is B. Before I end, I have an announcement. We are conducting a Gradeup UPSC Civil Services Conclave for 2020 on 19th and 20th of December. So please register for this conclave. In this conclave, you will be addressed on various aspects of civil services. How should you approach it on your preparation about civil services? There will be important strategy sessions conducted between 19th and 20th by serving as well as former civil servants, and certain sessions will be taken by your own faculty members such as me, Harshmit sir and Rohan Tyagi sir. So on 19th, the conclave will start at 3 p.m. You will have a session at 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8 p.m. Then on 20th also you will have sessions starting from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 p.m. So please do register for our conclave. It will help you. With this, I take your leave. I hope you liked the number of questions which we discussed today. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.